Hello everyone, hope you're having a good day. Today I made another batch of my granola, which is something I often do. It's kind of my go-to breakfast, and I try and make it seasonal, so this is my autumn granola. I'm going to do it again for winter, spring and summer, so look out for those videos in the future. The recipe is really simple actually, so we start off here with 400 grams of oats, and then we just add in our kind of mix-ins. Here I've got about a cup of coconut. This is the only recipe I really use cup measurements for because it's so easy. We're not trying to be too accurate, it's not like a cake or anything, so just 1 cup of coconut. And then I've got some pumpkin seeds left over from a soup I made, so I dried them in the oven and then just chuck them with the granola. And then I've got 1 cup of walnuts also. After the mix-ins I add in the liquids. So for my recipe I use 40 grams of coconut oil and 40 grams of vegetable oil, so here I've got sunflower oil, which might sound like a lot, so 80 grams of oil in total, but per 40 grams of oats it's like 2 grams of oil, which isn't actually that much. If you consider it that way, like 40 grams is kind of a normal portion, so it's not actually that fatty. Then we need some sweetness as well, so I've got another 40 grams of honey here. I think the scale actually goes to 38 grams, but again, this granola is quite a flexible recipe, you don't have to be exact. If you want to use something like maple syrup, or if you want to just use normal sugar like some brown sugar or molasses, treacle, any of these kind of sugary things, you can substitute them in and just play around with it. This is just the combination that I use, so coconut oil, sunflower oil and then honey. And because it's autumn we're going to add some spices, so I've got 2 tablespoons of cinnamon, 1 tablespoon of mixed spice and then half a tablespoon of ground ginger. I'm adding this to the oats before I add in my wet ingredients. I'm going to get this pretty well mixed in here because the wet ingredients are going to stick everything together. And now I'm going to add the oils and the honey. So I've microwaved this briefly for about 10 seconds on high power, just to melt everything down so it's easy to incorporate. You need this amount of oil and honey to properly coat everything, otherwise you're going to get a really dry granola. At this point I've got the oven preheated to 180 degrees, and I'm going to pour the granola out into a baking tray. I want it to be kind of thin so it can all cook evenly and quickly. This only takes about 15 minutes in the oven to cook, it's pretty quick. So I'm just pressing it out. The spatula doesn't really work that well, you kind of want to get your hands in there and compact it down, so some of it will stick together and you get little granola chunks. You can see here I'm pressing it down with my hands just to get that even layer, pushing it into all the corners, and you'll find that it kind of comes together because the oil and the honey in there forms one solid little layer. I'm pushing quite hard here, gotta be forceful with it, let it know who's boss. And then I put this in the oven at 180 degrees for 15 minutes. Here we have the final product, so we've got a nice golden brown all over, some little bits have crisped up a little bit. It smells great, them spices really hit you in the face. But I think you need that much spice. You can obviously tone it down if you don't want that spice, or you can use other spices. I just think the mix I've used is quite autumny, and it might seem like a lot, but you kind of need it to get that flavour come through. You could also add a little bit of salt if you wanted to as well. I don't feel it's necessary, but if you do want to, maybe like half a teaspoon of salt. And when the granola's cooled a little bit, I move it into this kiln jar. I tend to fill it all the way to the top and then add in I've got some raisins and currants and dried fruit. So I seal it and then give it a shake to mix it all together. And it eventually incorporates its way down. It's a bit of a workout as well, it's quite heavy. But here's a picture of the granola, the actual breakfast that I made afterwards, sorry. So I've got chopped banana on the bottom, and then some of the granola, and then just a little bit of desiccated coconut that I put on the top. And then, there's milk underneath the banana as well. I normally use skyr, which is like a, Icelandic strained yogurt. I didn't have any today, so milk's also good. I use soy milk for mine, but obviously use whatever you like. But that's everything for today though. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thank you very much for watching.